I worked on this book for 4 years and then some, and I'm so thrilled to have a chance to whet your appetite about a story that I hope is worthy of Texas. It's called Skubalon Storm, Secession, God and Country in a Possible World. 18 years ago, our fathers brought forth into this great union the noble Texas, unique among that young nation of states, having won its own independence at the Battle of San Jacinto on this day in 1836. Bound to their hearts, the Texian spirit conveyed into our union a boastfulness conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all these states might one day be as great as Texas, but probably not. Now we are engaged in a great uncivil discourse, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can thus endure. We are long met on the battlefield of that dissertation day after tedious day, having to bear upon our persons endless pronouncements of Texas this and Texas that. Therefore, with this proclamation, these 49 states do forever vacate Texas, that monotonous inanity which has contaminated the very essence of itself and our once beloved Texian brothers and sisters. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. The world will little note nor long remember how we suffered endless Texian entrustments, proclaiming their own glorious providence and destiny, but it can never forget what we did here this day to preserve the Union. That, my friends, is the official document of expulsion issued by the U.S. government printing office moments before Governor Peter Felt was to have announced the glorious secession of Texas on San Jacinto Day 2027. 30 miles to the east of Austin, Felt's arch rival, Pastor Arlen Bob Yates, founder of the Worldwide Church of the Pea-Free Sabbath, prepares to deliver the final blows of his decades-long vendetta to humiliate and ruin Felt. The former state of Texas is immediately bankrupted. Puerto Rico is admitted to the United Nations as the Republic of Texas. And Felt is maneuvered into naming his new nation the Republic of North Mexico. Now that's a bad day for Texas right there. And you're wondering, well, why is all this happening? You're thinking maybe, well, boys will be boys. You know, Skubalon happens. But what you don't know is that these two Texas power brokers were switched at birth at a Baltimore hospital in 1984, despite the best efforts of a god named God to make sure that that didn't happen. Now, God knew he was a fit player in all this, being fed information on a need-to-know basis only, but this was a tall order and he just wasn't up to the task. But you know, this wasn't about him, and ultimately it wasn't even about those switched up baby boys that day. This was about Texas, pure and simple. Texas now, and Texas as far into the future as you care to imagine. It's also about Texas and the deep, deep way back, as chronicled in the Teller's Tale, the most ancient of ancient prophecies told before the Big Bang Bang. It all makes sense somehow if you think about it. You know, what self-respecting ancient prophecy would concern itself with any other place than Texas? There's not one. Come on now, if you were an ancient prophecy, would you waste your time wandering through the millennia, influencing the world's great religions to impact the future of any other place than Texas? Would you do that for Indiana? Idaho? Go dogs?
Hey! Foxy, down in front!
Foxy is female, she's mounting the male dog.
I don't think you would do that. I mean, we're talking about changing the course of history here, aren't we? Reimagining the first meeting between the angel Gabriella and little Mo, or Muhammad. And And what about Moses' second in command, Phamuel, who forgot to grab the recipe for matzah bread as the Israelites were escaping the bonds of Egyptian enslavement? Now that's a serious thing. You think about it. Without matzah, there's no Passover. And without Passover, you got one less optional state holiday for state employees. Now, of course, Moses writes about most of that in his autobiography, One Hell of an Exodus. But you probably don't know this. The Phamuel, to make amends, travels with half of the Jewish diaspora to the South Seas, where the alt-Israelites end up growing the finest matzah grains on earth, thriving as an open society, and establishing the all-faith caliphate of Borneo in the year 740 AD. But here again, this is about Texas. It has nothing to do with the Jews or the Muslims. That said, it takes a lot. It's a lot to take in, and frankly, I'm picking up some doubt out there, a little uncertainty. A little concerned about that. Well, now, I don't want you to go home tonight, all out there in the wilderness, not knowing exactly what to believe. So I'm going to suggest that you liberate yourself from all the conflict and confusion in your life by making the decision right now to believe in everything. Believe in everything. Let me stop you right there because I know what you're going to say. How does somebody believe in everything? Is it possible to believe in ritual sacrifice and the inviolability of life? The free bonobo love and the sanctity of marriage? Could I possibly believe that M&Ms are better than the Three Musketeers bars and vice versa?
Yes.
The answer is yes. You can believe in everything at once for the same reason that you believe in whatever, the Holy Ghost, Brahman, angels, reincarnation, nature. Believing in all those things, belief in all those things are possible because you hold in your heart the most powerful of all forces in the universe. That is faith. The permission from God's immemorial to believe in anything. So I'm here now, brothers and sisters, to welcome you into the fold of the Church of the P-Free Sabbath, where you will reject all your worldly logic that has to date only confused you, and replace it with a faith so compelling that you will joyfully and without reservation embrace absolutely everything. As our founder, Brother Pastor Arlen Bob Yates, defined a saying, you can stop searching for the truth now. It's all true. And when we all believe in everything, anything is possible, including the redemption of Texas in the eye of a Skubalon storm. Thank you.
Amen.